Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for June 5th. So, what you can see here, I'm just going to bring it down for a second. This is my most beautiful piece of rose quartz, which is a stone of love, right? It is a stone of the heart. Pink obviously is just that color that we associate with love. And I wanted this piece of rose quartz close by because I have a message that Spirit wants me to share with you. Now, I'm going to just move this thing out of the way, but it is absolutely a lovely, lovely piece. So it's with me. It's just off to the side. So the other day, I was going through and I was reading messages. I think it was from Wednesday's video. Could have even been some from Monday's. And there was a lot of... And rightly so. There was a lot of, I'm really disappointed in my country. I'm scared. This is terrible. I can't believe we're in this place. This is going to be a disaster, etc. And Spirit, in a rather loud, booming voice, said to me, tell them to look at all the light. So I am going to channel a quick message, I hope, from Spirit about exactly what it is they want us to direct our attention to. So here we go. These are very, very difficult and challenging times. Your country, the United States of America, has now arrived at its tower moment. It experienced a similar moment almost 150 years ago. And that brought changes that were positive. But we're now 250 years later, and the rest must be dealt with. There must be a continued effort to continue to correct the wrongs, make that which is right, right. It is a time for the country to actually live up to its Declaration of Independence, to its Constitution. And so all of the events that have converged on your country are the tower. They are that moment where that which was not built on stable ground, and unstable ground in this case certainly means we're built without true justice. We're built without true clarity about all men created equal. It is time to evaluate the history of your country and recognize that the time has now come for correction. All those souls who died at the hands of racial brutality did not die in vain, even though we acknowledge it often feels that way. You think of it as a pot on a stove, and each one of those tragedies were like the bubbles that bubble up. That's what they represented. But now there have been so many bubbles that have bubbled up. You now have a boiling pot of water. And that is what critical mass looks like. You are, as a country, experiencing a rebirth, if you will, a course correction at a time when globally there are other issues, the pandemic, the economy, that are impacting everybody. But for the United States in particular, it was an opportunity, or it affords you an opportunity to really understand that the time of change is here. And so from our perspective, we ask, we implore you to do everything in your power to stand in the light. Do not become despondent. Do not become sad and depressed. We understand what you're going through is unbelievably difficult. But change has to take place. And in order for change to take place, first, you needed critical mass, which has now happened. And second, you need clarity about why what needs to be changed has to be changed and how to do it. And that is the opportunity that has now been given to your country. Know that not only do the spirit and higher realms stand by you together with your earth souls, your earth beings. The planet watches and prays for peace, justice, and equity to take place, equality to take place in your country finally. Is this going to be the last fight that ever is fought over this issue? Probably not. The United States carries some rather significant karma, but this is the opportunity to make things better than they ever have been before for your country. So we ask that you embrace that possibility. Your president has been put in place as literally a divisive agent of change. And this was, again, not a role that was assigned only to him, but certainly it is a role that he has embraced to a degree that really amplifies that which it has been in crisis in your country for a very long time. The farther he goes from the norms, from accuracy, from the truth, the more that change is desired, the more the energy to create the change is enhanced. And as a country, you again are not only moving to a critical mass in terms of the racial divides that permeate your country, but you are also achieving critical mass, generally speaking, in terms of it is time for us as a country to identify who and what we are and identify what we want to be known for. We want to live up to our better angels. Please carry this hope in your hearts, because the road ahead is going to be difficult. But you do not stand alone. And the change that is coming has been a long time in coming. And those of you on the planet who are experiencing and witnessing this change are here for a reason. Certainly the light workers and the earth angels, the empaths, etc., chose to be here to shine their light as strongly as they could to ensure that good triumphed evil. That is the road you are on, That is the journey you have undertaken. Stay strong, stay focused, and know that the time has come for love to permeate, for love to choose acceptable behaviors and standards. Certainly the next 3 months are going to be quite volatile. Stand in your light. Stay strong. And give serious thought to what you want your country to look like, be like, and feel like. This is not easy. Understand, this is not just something that was destined and it's just going to unfold for you. If it was, there wouldn't be literally millions of people on the earth who are shining their light. There would not be millions of people who specifically chose to be on your planet at this time to help the global transition and to help your country's transition. You're not alone, and you are loved as a people, and you will not be deserted. Thank you for the opportunity in allowing us to share this guidance and insight with you. We are honored to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. That is all. Okay. So, they talked about the summer becoming volatile, and it's going to. And there's going to be many, many readings between now and the end of summer as things unfold, as events take place. You're going to be guided, right? I mean, the tarot readers, the intuitives, the psychics that you know of and watch and enjoy, are going to be there continuing to bring you messages so that not only do you have hope and clarity, but so that you have some understanding of what's going on and why it's going on, and frankly, what the end result is wanting to look like. Death, the world is watching, and temperance. Fighting, angling, working towards balance. What amazing cards that just jumped right out of the deck for all of you. But for right now, I want to ask Spirit to give us whatever insights, guidance, or understanding that can be added to today's message, just so that the message perhaps gets a little meatier, just there's a little bit more information. Although typically it's frankly really hard to outdo Spirit. But we're not trying to outdo it as much as we're just asking for the expanded version, if you will. So I hope you found that helpful. The message was so clear. It was so definitive. And they really, really want people to know that you're here for a reason. And if what you do to shed your light is send letters to the government, send letters to your representative. If it is, walking in peaceful protest, if it is simply encouraging your neighbors to get out there and vote, whatever it is that you were hoping and meant to provide, to offer at this time, whether you knowingly know it or are doing it, trust me, you're doing it. Come on down. I have a question. Here we go. Message of hope, message of hope, message of hope. Create some space here. All right. There is the opportunity for decisions and choices to be made that are going to be celebrated, that people are going to be happy with and pleased with and comforted by. That time is now. And it is moving ahead with force and speed and clarity because the time is now. The period of time where members of your population have literally been imprisoned, whether that is physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, that time of despair and loss is coming to a close now. The opportunity is there for new growth, new beginnings, a new start. You take the wisdom from the past, the energy and the hope from the future, and you pour it into today. And what you have is a really, really new, powerful beginning that promises, should the challenge be met, to bring your country and you the ultimate sense of happiness, of celebration, of emotional safety and security. The time of confusion, the time of being only sort of awake and not paying attention, the time of having your information clouded and distorted is coming to a close. And that which was incredibly evil is going to come to an end. Does that mean America's going to be perfect? No, of course it's not. And you can't change a couple of 100 years of behavior in a night, in a week, in a month. But what you start now in that positive, from that positive place, from that place of hope, is going to carry forward through many, many decades, many centuries, and continue to evolve and continue to take you to that higher place and space. There are a lot of people in the world right now that were on the earth, 248 years ago. They were on the earth during that revolution. They were on the earth when very strong beliefs or attitudes on both sides came into conflict. A lot of those people are here again. And for some, they have strengthened, if you will, the beliefs they held. Again, on both sides of the coin, right? And so this does become not a battle, not a war, but a time of growth, a time of forward movement where new decisions and new choices are going to be enacted upon. And there is every reason to believe that that hard work, the trial, the sacrifice, the pain is now finally going to get its due, its reward. And that ultimately is going to make your country much stronger. It's going to put your country in a better place in terms of global relationships. And I have to tell you, for any of you who think that the United States is just sort of going to get a new president and just revert to their standing in the world and everything goes back to normal the way it was under Obama, you're going to be disappointed, because this is a time of new. You take the foundation, both good and bad. You take the wisdom from the past, good and bad, the lessons learned, and you blend them with the hope of tomorrow. And when that is accomplished, that is where the prosperity and the abundance start to circle, envelop, not only your country, but frankly, by extension, the world. But it is going to take a while for the United States to sort of regain its standing. And there is a hope, a really big hope, that because of the experiences you have had, not this week, not last year, for 200 years, you're going to understand that other countries' beliefs, their democracies, are for them. And they are on their own growth cycle. And the United States should not continue to try to tell people and tell the world that they need to be a reflection of the United States. The countries on the planet are very much like the people on the planet. They all carry their own karmic realities as a country and as the citizens of those countries. And they, like every other person, is on their journey. And that you have to remember. What is justice for your country is what your country needs and what your country will have as you find that long-awaited and much overdue balance. But you must learn to respect the journeys of other countries. It's really important. The world waits, the world watches, and the world supports the light, the good, the better choices. So, understand this tower is not only for Donald Trump. It is not only for the Republican Party. It is for your country. Because it now needs to be rebuilt on strong, solid foundations with the wisdom and the hope. Know and understand this. You're not alone. And there are so many on the planet, in your country and everywhere else, who are working together with you energetically, sometimes literally, emotionally, and physically, to bring about the promise of what the United States was supposed to be. Okay. Take a deep breath. Probably the next video or the video after that I do is going to take a look at sort of the summer of 2020 and see if we can get sort of a bit of a better handle on what you can anticipate through the rest of June, July, August. You know, the bumps and bruises are necessary. They're part of the growth, and they're part of the tearing down that which no longer works. And globally, we're all doing that, right? I mean, this is part of what the pandemic is about. This is what part of that shifting to a higher vibration is about. It's all about releasing that which is no longer working and creating something new and brighter and more just and more fair. And ultimately, more loving. Have a good weekend. Until next time, take care. Be well. Bye-bye.